Well, there are many reasons why Kurdistan should become independent, but essentially it all boils down to two main arguments. The first argument concerns independence as a principle. It is about the right to self-determination, which is the birthright of all peoples. Kurds are the largest nation in the world without a recognized state. Like any other nation, the Kurdish people should be free in determining their own destiny. Now, the second argument is about independence now as a practical way to solve some of the fundamental problems that Iraq has been dealing with for a long time, since its very creation, in fact. Iraq is currently facing multiple challenges: security, economic, political, and humanitarian. These challenges are partly because of external threats like ISIS, the inability of its political leaders, and the corruption and so on. But it would be too simplistic to see any of these as the reason for the failure of Iraq as a state. In reality, these are just symptoms of a much greater problem: the construction of Iraq as a state. Indeed, the problem is Iraq itself. Iraq was created as an artificial country where compulsory coexistence between Kurds and Arabs on the one hand and Shias and Sunnis on the other has prevented the country from being a real nation state. The Kurds have been the main victim of these fundamental divisions. When you look at the history of Iraq, successive regimes in Baghdad, regardless of their types or ideologies, they all have used repressive and discriminatory policies toward the Kurds, including acts of genocide by the Saddam Hussein's Ba'ath regime. Following the fall of the Saddam regime in 2003, the Kurds in Iraq decided to help rebuild the state of Iraq on the condition that it would be a democratic, federal, and pluralistic state in which Arabs, Kurds, and all the other components would be equal partners. More than a decade later, unfortunately, none of those principles have been adhered to. In the post-Saddam era, Iraq had a chance to get rid of its fundamental problems and open a new chapter, but the country's political elite has failed to do so. For that reason, Kurdistan Regional Government, the KRG, has been increasingly pursuing its own path, and over the last decade, the KRG has grown to become a too powerful and too independent entity within a failed state. Kurdistan region has its own institutions, and it is politically, economically, and militarily independent of Baghdad. In fact, Kurdistan region is an independent state in all but name.